Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IAS Academy. So today in this session we are going to discuss the important editorial which is written by C Raja Mohan. जी हाँ, जैसे कि हर वीक हम आर्ट एडिटोरियल डिस्कस करते हैं सी राजा मोहन का, which is very important for IR students in UPSC examination as well as PSIR optional subject in UPSC mains examination. So today in Indian Express, C. Raja Mohan has written about beyond BRICS and Quad. Forget the grand design and focus on the mundane. So this is the headlines in the newspaper. So what if I told you that the real game in the global diplomacy today is not being played in the spotlight of the global summits, but in the shadows of bilateral handshake. So why I am telling these? Because while the world watching that India in BRICS as well as in Quad, which because these two things, BRICS as well as Quad, two of the most you can say high profile global groupings, something which is far more important is happening quietly and strategically. Now, so as Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks on a 5-nation tour across 2 continents, that is Africa and South America. So these things are there in the headlines. Now, these headlines are screaming the geopolitical chessboard, but beneath the surface lies a truth no one is talking about. Now, what is that truth? That India is ditching the grand stage and doubling down on quiet as well as concrete power building. Ji haan. So India is now focusing on concrete power building, and quietly India is taking these actions. Now there are several questions that we need to understand, that why is India shifting gears from ideological visions to hard national interest? How is China silently filling the vacuum across South Asia, Africa as well as Latin America? And is America's China threat policy about to vanish under the Trump administration or Trump comeback? So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand why the future of global power may not lie in BRICS or in the Quad, but in the forgotten lanes of Ghana, Argentina and Trinidad Tobago, where real diplomacy is unfolding. So as we can see here, the title Beyond BRICS and Quad, forget grand design, focus on the mundane. So what is the main idea here? So let's talk about the main idea here. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 5-nation tour. The visit is not just about grand groupings like BRICS or you can say the Quad, but more about India securing the practical interest through strong bilateral ties, especially in this turbulent global environment. Now, first we need to understand PM's 5-nation tour, है ना? तो अब ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी का 5-nation tour कौन कौन से कंट्रीज में है, that we need to understand. So let's talk about the 5-nation tour and what are the regions that he is going to cover. First is Brazil, and as you can see here, South America. So first is Brazil. Brazil to attend the BRICS summit, that is the main stop. Second is Argentina, again in South America. Third is Trinidad Tobago, as you can see here, है ना? Trinidad Tobago. Then the next region is Ghana and Namibia in Africa region, है ना? Now, अब सवाल ये उठता है, what is the purpose of this visit, है ना? अब इन सभी विजिट का पर्पस क्या है? So let's try to understand about the purpose. See, this is not an ideological talk, but to push India's trade, technology, defense as well as bilateral ties. So when we talk about BRICS, है ना, अगर हम BRICS की बात करते हैं, so how BRICS has been changed, है ना? What was the nature or the structure of BRICS earlier and what is happening now, that we need to understand. BRICS, which represent Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Now, in 2014, as you can see here, in 2014, when Prime Minister Modi was elected as the Prime Minister of this country. So at that time, Prime Minister Modi's first foreign trip was to the BRICS summit in Fortaleza, Brazil region, which showed the hope for strong ties with Russia as well as China. But now, if we see the situation of BRICS now, so what is happening? BRICS is less effective due to internal issues. Ji haan. Now today BRICS is less effective because of internal issues like India-China tensions. Ji haan. Like India-China tensions. Like since then we have seen various clashes, like clashes at the border in 2014, then in 2017 Doklam, then 2020 Galwan issue, है ना? These challenges are there. So internal challenges are there. Then another important thing, as you can see here, Argentina's president Javier Milei. So Argentina's president Javier Milei, he refused to join BRICS, which shows other nations are not excited about BRICS. है ना? Then apart from this, Russia and China, है ना? Apart from this, Russia and China, basically they are getting closer, which weakens BRICS balance also. Now, apart from this BRICS, another you can say strategy is Quad. Now, Quad, as we can see here, Quad is more important, but it has also some problems. A problem क्या है? Quad में कौन-कौन से groupings है? India, US, Japan, and Australia. Now, this Quad strategy was rebooted in 2017 by India, and it became a way for India to balance China's growing power. है ना? Now, in Quad there are some concerns, but in Quad also there are some concerns. Now, what are those concerns? The first concern, now this year in 2025, because Trump has been elected as the President of United States of America, so his first important policy, Trump's America's first policy. Trump's America's first policy. This is one of the important concern. Now, Trump क्या चाहते हैं? Trump wants allies like Japan and Australia to spend 3% of their GDP. Trump चाहते हैं that allies like Japan and Australia, they should spend 3% of their GDP on where? On defense. On defense. And Trump is warning, है ना? अब यहां पर हम देख सकते हैं कि चाइना के साथ कैसे रिलेशन. Now we need to understand. Now Trump is warming up to China, planning a visit with a business delegation. So US may not stay firm on balancing China right now, because which is the main idea behind the Quad, है ना? In this scenario, what is India's policy? India's multi-alignment policy. तो अब सी राजा मोहन एडिटोरियल में क्या लिखते हैं? That India tries to maintain a good ties with all the major powers, including United States of America, Russia, China at the same time. But China's aggression forced India closer to US. Because of China's aggression, which has forced India closer to US. Now, Russia's growing closeness to China limits its value for India. This is also one of the important challenges. Now, what are India's current concerns? So, now we need to understand what are India's current concerns. So, let's try to understand Trump's return and possible big deal with China. This is the first important concern. Then Trump's new interest in Pakistan, which has made India uneasy. Then China, Pakistan. Now, as you can see here, China, Pakistan, Bangladesh cooperation is also rising. That is in India's neighborhood. Then there is a huge possibility of a new grouping which can be led by China. That is China-led regional group outside the SAARC. That is China's own Indian Ocean Forum. China is also filling gaps which is left by India in South Asia. So China's influence in Modi's travel destination is also there, because China has strong economic presence in Argentina also. China has a strong economic presence in Brazil also. Then China has strong economic presence in various other countries of Africa like Ghana, Namibia, all these regions. So basically we see these countries want practical cooperation, not ideology. ये जहां पे भी अभी इंडिया जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर विजिट कर रहे हैं, these countries want practical cooperation, not ideology, है ना, like trade, defense, technology, all these things. Now in this situation what India should do? अब इस पर सी राजा मोहन का क्या कहना है? What India should do. So he has mentioned in his editorial, first thing is C. Raja Mohan has mentioned focus on economic reforms. Economic reforms at home. That India needs to do economic reform. Then India needs to rebuild national political unity. Okay, national political unity. Then India needs to reclaim its leadership in South Asia to counter China. Reclaim leadership where? In South Asia region. And then he has mentioned India needs to strengthen ties with key developing countries. So what are the important takeaways which we can see in his editorial? Instead of big ideological dreams about changing the world through BRICS or Quad, India should stay practical. India should build strong bilateral ties and focus on domestic strength as well as regional leadership. So these things are mentioned in this editorial. So overall, we can say that in a world of collapsing alliances as well as unpredictable leader, India has a choice. Chase big dreams or build strong foundations. The era of grand narratives like de-dollarization, New World Order or Asian century, it may excite headlines, but the real future will be built through steady reforms at home, tough decisions abroad, and choosing substances over symbolism. So, from the Quad cracks to BRICS contradiction, India's path is clear. That India needs to strengthen the core, expand bilateral muscle, reclaim regional leadership, because in today's turbulent world, it is not the loudest voices that win. It is the most resilient nations that rise. So if you believe that diplomacy is more than drama, then hit that like button, subscribe our channel Legacy IAS Academy and share this video with someone who needs to look beyond the headlines. Because this is not just India's story, it is the story of how smart nations survive storms. Thank you so much.